poets who came before. They're so wonderful. I mean, you know, it's a tough act to follow. People with so much talent, ability, and creativity, and fearlessness. So much fearlessness in your poetry. I love it. So I feel very, very privileged to be here to talk with you in this way. And I thought I wouldn't have anything new tonight, but then I started getting ready, and I found that there were some words that were new that I hadn't done before that I might be able to share with you. And so this is about poetry, just about poetry. And the title is Vulnerable, because we're all vulnerable to poetry, to sounds. And so this is new, so it's crude. Please forgive me if it really doesn't work that well, but I kind of like it. So vulnerable. If you don't like the picture, you can close your eyes. If you can't stand the heat, you can exit the kitchen. But if the sounds hurt and bring on tears, you are helpless unless you pluck out your ears. No, this is something for, well, it's entitled She's the Woman I Love. And it's I kind of wish I had music with it, but I don't have. But anyway, you can kind of picture the music. She's the woman I love, and I'm her cross to bear. I fail her in so many ways, and she's so strong to care. And after all, she loves me, as flawed as I am. After all, she loves me, and I am a fortunate man. She's the woman I love, and I'm her cross to bear.
I'll be nice enough to too late, you're on.
Sweet girl, oh. No. Now this is a poem. I don't know if I should even read it, because I think you've already all heard it, and because
bring it on.
Yeah, and because I don't have Kurt to accompany. But okay, here we go. This is called Absinthe.
Yes.
See?
Okay. Absinthe, absintha, absinthe, maketh the heart grow fonder, not sure. The green fairy of Baudelaire and Wilde, Poe and Hemingway, Switzerland and New Orleans, a dangerously addictive psychoactive drug, says Wikipedia. It was said by a French critic of absinthe that, quote, absinthe makes you crazy and criminal, provokes epilepsy and tuberculosis, and has killed thousands of French people. It makes a ferocious beast of man, and a martyr of women, and a degenerate of the infinite. It disorganizes and ruins the family and menaces the future of the country. This is a story about desire, denial, and fulfillment. Are you ready?
Yes.
Thank you. First, desire. I first read about absinthe in 1964 in a book named Narcotics, Nature's Dangerous Friends. I immediately knew that I wanted some. It had been illegal in the U.S. since 1912. Next, denial. Unlike the other dangerous friends described in the book, it was not available in Haight-Ashbury. I made do with what was, but I always wondered. Now, fulfillment. Something forbidden is now allowed in our fair country. It's back, baby. This is kind of an ad for Kubler Absinthe Superior, 1 liter for $59.99, or Lucid Absinthe, 750 milliliters for $64.99 from your local PLCB. Well, I was in New Orleans and I walked by the old Absinthe house. I turned and walked by it again. There was a plaque. Poe had drunk at this bar. I went in. "Show me all the absinthe you have," I said. The young girl behind the counter trotted them out. 3. I read the labels. Geez, I thought, this is the real stuff. "I'll have the Lucid," I said. She said, "After the first glass, you see things as you wish they were. After the second, you see things as they are not. Finally, you see things as they really are, and that is the most horrible thing in the world." I later learned the quote came from Ernest Hemingway. Then she began the ritual. The ritual of absinthe. A healthy gulp of the green liquid was poured from the bottle into an ornate glass. A strainer of odd design was placed on the glass, a cube of sugar placed on the strainer. All right, I thought. She lit the sugar on fire, and gradually, drop by drop, she drowned the fire and melted the sugar cube into the drink. At some point she finished and left. I leaned forward and placed my chin on my folded arms, stared into the turbulent, milky contents of the glass. I just had to laugh. Thank you. This next one is, it's entitled Naughty Boy.
Yes.
You remember Naughty Boy? Oh, it is a memory of Allen Ginsberg that from 1989 in Philadelphia at a conference that I went to thanks to my beautiful, wonderful wife, and I have Allen Ginsberg, man. I have been inspired by him for so much of my life, and I finally got to meet him, and I got to know who he really was, and so this is about that. He was a naughty boy. You could tell by the way he swung his hips in time to the rhythm of his licks. Paunchy belly and button butt pushed out, rotating rhythmically back and forth, knees bent, bearded, with an insolent pout. We could all tell that he was a naughty boy. "You changed my life. I said to him at the book signing, presenting him my book of Howl. He glanced up with a worldly, quizzical, amused expression. "Where'd you get it?" he asked. "My book of Howl is annotated with copies of the original typed manuscript and handwritten revisions, now signed. I consider it holy." "What did it cost you?" he asked. I flashed back to my pilgrimage to City Lights bookstore in San Francisco in the time of Ferlinghetti, where, immersed in magic scents of dust and mold and old tobacco, I roamed the dark bookshelves. The pain of youth and desire had driven me there. Fear, uncertainty, disillusion, narcissism, visions of emptiness, suicidal fantasies. The cost was old references abandoned. No cost at all. Raised by insanity and persecuted for existence, the decisions to reject the bullshit was easy. Better to crash and burn through the hollow earth than to tread the muddy surface as a golem in lockstep. In his rigid, straight, heterosexual society, he chose to proclaim and celebrate his homosexuality. In his beer and shotgun country, he chose to drop acid, oppose war, and smoke pot every chance he had. He was a Dharma bum who immersed himself in the immediacy of life with a naked, unblinking grin, sang on popular truths beneath the windows of the world, and insisted on being a very, very naughty boy. Okay. Well, this is a sort of different thing. It's entitled, "Hey Man." Have you ever been inside? Because if you haven't, then you don't know America. Are you affronted by the young man who wear their pants down low? Inside, they don't let you wear belts, you know. You know? No. I didn't think so. It is a statement of independence and autonomy by young men in this economy. We know what you know, and you don't know shit. You know what I mean? Follow? I don't think so. Okay, I got three more. And these are insect poems. I've always liked insects. Man. Crustaceans. Crusty bugs, you know. Okay. So I'm working on some poems on insects. And this is what I got. The first one's called The Weevil. The time has come, the weevil said, to squeak of many things, of Bisquick boxes filled with food, and mattresses with springs, of computers filled with viruses, and other toxic things like pornographic websites and YouTube video flick. None of us are pure, he said. We should not be reviled. For who among us, and he stared about, is not a pawn of style? And style, he said salaciously, in the fashion of the moment, who among us, and he glanced about, does not live in torment? Oh yes, he smirked. You know that you are a piece of work. But how will the future finally judge your worth? You don't know and cannot. So here's a bug's eye view. In every misstep, stumble, and blunder, there isn't anything new. The weevil paused and turned its head, looked around with scorn, tidily rubbed its legs, egressed, and vanished in the corn. Now this next one is naughty. It's sexy. It's naughty, but you wouldn't know it unless I explained it. So here's the thing: dragonflies. There are so many different species of dragonflies, and they all look pretty similar. So they have to know each other apart so they can reproduce, because they have to know that. And so apparently evolution has resulted in the dragonflies having uniquely designed genitals. And the way they can tell each other apart apparently is the way that things fit together. And so this is a poem about that. I mean, imagine.
So they're always trying to rub it together and see what fits.
And if it doesn't fit, then I think they eat each other or something. I don't know. It's like,
If it does not fit, you must quit.
but not in a good way. Okay, so this is called the Dragonfly Wench. It's short. Slim-waisted, box-locked, only keyed, connected, ecstasied, intersected. So that's kind of about how you Thank you.
I think intro was more important.
And this last one is another insect crustacean sort of story that, well, you'll get it as it goes along. The title is it's pardon me. It's entitled Crabs. I don't know where I first came across you, but afterwards you were my close companions. I grew to love you because I knew that you always truly needed me. You listened to my complaints, shared my most intimate experiences. You were with me in Winnipeg, and I spread you all across Canada. You may know some of them. And back down the Great Loop through Washington, Oregon, and California, you made me feel collected to the universe, to Caesar and Cleopatra and Marilyn Monroe. My role was to be your vehicle, to send you forth so you could be fruitful and multiply. You joined me in Oregon, maybe, or Pennsylvania, more likely. I'll never know, but will always wonder. The last time I saw you was in Carlsbad, California, after a motorcycle race, crawling up my chest. I had unzipped my leather suit and tied the arms around my waist, and there you were. It must have been tough down there in those leathers in the hot California summer sunshine. Last time I saw you was before I met Linda, who did not understand you, so you had to go. I'm not sure I did the right thing because Linda's long gone, and you would still be with me.